Hey everybody, it's Francisco Diaz. I have an amazing guest here with me today. Her name is Gloria Diaz, and as you probably noticed by the last names, we are related.
Yes, hi, my name is Gloria Diaz. I'm a nail tech here in Northwest Arkansas, and I'm so excited to be here today.
Right on. So we do this thing in each episode that we give each other 10 seconds to go ahead and just say whatever's on our mind. I could go first. I'll say my 10 seconds. Right before this recording, um, I am a real estate broker and there's a deal I'm working on. Closing keeps getting postponed. So it is a little bit stressful for the buyers and I, but I know we're going to be able to get this deal done and make our clients a homeowner. Gloria?
This morning I took 3 clients this morning. I started I think like at 7 a.m., so I'm a little tired, but it's okay, we're good. Um, yeah, Mondays are usually my half days, and then I come over here to help Francisco and his team out with some content like for Instagram and TikTok and things like that. So yeah, Mondays are very busy.
Right on, right on. Yeah, so this podcast will likely get released maybe later in the week. Maybe we'll do Monday, but right now we're just kind of filling the database with recordings, interviewing awesome guests like Gloria, and hopefully we can add value to all of our listeners. Part of our goal with this podcast called We Are First Gen is bringing any guest that is first generation in whatever industry or line of work they're in. Gloria, like she mentioned, is an awesome nail tech. I wanted to go ahead and talk a bit about that. She is home based, but Gloria, what does being a no tech entail?
So I became a nail tech when I was 17, so it's been about I think it'll be 4 years now in October. Um, yeah, just social media, getting clientele. I feel like being a nail tech has made me much more of an extrovert. I feel like I used to be very shy, and now it's really brought a lot of the extrovertness like out of me. I've met a lot of cool people doing nails. I got my license back in 2024. I went to Arc Beauty. Um, but yeah, I just feel like it's a way I express myself. I've always been into art ever since I was younger, and so I feel like being a nail tech really brought out that side of me. I never really thought that it would be a job, but here I am.
I like that. So Gloria is very creative. Um, Gloria is my sister, and I remember her growing up, always loving to draw, do art. I was also into art, but I guess I followed a more boring path and became a real estate broker and got into business. But Gloria gets to do art every day.
Yes, I very much enjoy that. I feel like it's something different every day. You always have different trends, different people doing nails, long, short. It's just different every day, and that's what I love about it. And having different conversations every day is what I love about it.
So we may or may not have listeners that may want to become a nail tech as well. So where are you located? Do you work at a salon or?
I actually am home based. I did work in a salon for a little bit after I got my license, but I just don't feel like it was the environment for me. I feel like after COVID, private nail techs really started taking over. I feel like a salon people get overstimulated so easily. So at a salon, you have so many people talking back and forth, and like, there's nothing wrong with that. People love that, but a private nail tech just gives you a more one-on-one experience of what you're wanting. People leave happier. Um, and yeah, I just feel like it's starting to become much more normalized, and yeah.
Right on, right on. So being home based, I know whenever I was growing up, we had barbers that would, cut hair in the
Mhm.
garage from home, etc. I feel that the COVID era did change a lot of the workplace environment, industries. Is that kind of a nail tech home based individuals became a thing, or when did we evolve?
I feel like it was after COVID. I feel like maybe you would see a home-based nail tech here and there, but after COVID, like, just people didn't wanna be around many people as much, and honestly, I feel like going to school for nails also, because I started doing nails from home before I got my license just to see if I liked it, see if I liked taking clientele and just doing nails every day. And honestly, I feel like I would recommend that before if anyone's trying to be a nail tech, just to see if it's something that you enjoy doing, because you do invest a lot of money into products and a lot of time, and it takes definitely a lot of patience. And I do know a couple people that started doing nails, went to school for it, and didn't end up being a nail tech. So I do feel like it does take a lot of patience, and you do have to start and see if that's something you really enjoy doing. But yeah, I feel like after COVID is definitely when it became more normal because people just wanted that one-on-one experience. New trends were coming all the time. And I feel like in salons too, it's definitely more of a old school way of doing nails, and a lot of new trends have started, um like trends evolve and things like that. And I feel like at a salon too, people do more old school type of nails, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
So did you always want to be a nail tech? How did you get into this industry?
I didn't always want to be a nail tech, honestly. I had never thought about it. At first I just kind of wanted to do my own nails. Um, but little by little, I was still a senior in high school, so my friends and my classmates would start asking me here and there if I wanted to do their nails. And I had friends in cross country and track who would ask me, like, they would come over after school, I'd do their nails. But genuinely never thought it would be an actual job. Once I did start taking clients, like, that's when I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is actually something that I could do for a living." But yeah, I really never thought I would be a nail tech. I just always thought it was so fun. Like, again, I grew up always being creative and into art and things like that, and I felt like this was kind of a more, like, modern way of, like, expressing my art, if that makes sense.
Yeah, love it. Love it. So kind of going back to the journey, you mentioned you didn't always know you wanted to be a nail tech. Um, did you ever give other thoughts to like education, college, high school? You obviously graduated high school. Kind of how was that trajectory?
So I didn't always know that I always wanted to be a nail tech, but I did know that I wanted to be a business owner. I knew that I wanted to be
Mhm.
my own boss, and I did. After I graduated high school, I did go to college for a little bit. I don't know if anybody knows about the associates program that they do in NWA, but maybe in other schools as well. But I did do that my junior year. I feel like I was so focused on working. I did get my first job my junior year. I worked at Chick-fil-A. Um,
Shout out.
so I worked Monday through Friday after school. I was in sports as well, and so I would go after practice. And honestly, like, before, like, my beginning years of high school, I was such a straight A student, straight 4.0 GPA, and so I did wanna get ahead of that, and my original goal was to get my associate's degree once I graduated, but that didn't really work out. I feel like I was so focused on working and that I didn't really set aside time to do my work or anything, and so that was my junior year. Senior year, I just did regular. After I graduated, I did go to INWAC for a little bit. I went for a semester. I really did enjoy my time there. I did learn a lot. I took some business classes, but it just wasn't for me. I feel like, again, I was already doing nails at that time, and so I was just so focused on growing my clientele, posting on social media, getting as many practice clients in as possible. I was still exploring that whole industry, and I didn't have my license yet, so I was just so focused on seeing if that's something I really wanted to do. And so I unfortunately did fail all my classes at INWAC, but I feel like it worked out because I feel like that was kind of my second try already trying it out. And so I did decide the next semester to enroll in cosmetology school and get my license for nails. And that was really something I wanted to do. So that's what I pursued.
Right on, right on. So we have something in common. My first job was Freddy's Frozen Custard. I actually helped open up the first Freddy's in Northwest Arkansas, right on Walnut Street and Rogers. And you worked at Chick-fil-A, so we were both in fast food
Yes.
at to some extent. We were both in the kitchen as well, right?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Right on. So I think it's a great first job to have, great work ethic. I love the culture at Chick-fil-A. So yeah,
Yeah,
right
I
on.
will say they are a very good first job. They're very flexible with your hours, and you're off on Sundays, but they were very flexible with my school hours. And I feel like it does teach you very well customer service because anybody who goes to Chick-fil-A knows they have the best customer service.
Hands down.
Yes.
Hands down, love it. So, how did your parents or how did our parents feel about you failing out of college and pursuing owning your own business as an LTech?
Honestly, I feel like it was very much, having to get them on board of what I was doing. Also being the young we have an older sister, so I'm the youngest, and my both my siblings did go to college, and so I feel like whenever I told them that I didn't wanna continue my college journey, they were very hesitant at first. I feel like especially not growing up in this country, they weren't really used to not getting like, that's what they wanted for us. And especially my mom, I feel like she wasn't really into, like, getting her nails done or anything, and so she didn't really know that being a nail tech could be a job. So it definitely took a lot of convincing, but also just showing them. I feel like I had to work twice as hard to show them that it was gonna be an actual job, because at first they definitely were hesitant, but yeah.
Agreed. And I think especially with both our parents being immigrants, they migrated from Guatemala and El Salvador at the age of 18. All they knew was hard work. And all they would hope for their kids is to pursue the American dream, go to college, and get a good paying job. And truthfully, that's all they did know. So, I think even for me, uh, they didn't know what a real estate agent meant or what it involved. Um, we don't get paid a salary, we don't get
Mhm.
paid a wage, we get paid commission. And being able to show my parents that we've been able to build a business, I think is very, fulfilling. And then they understand it, once they see us, doing well, maybe buying a home.
Mhm.
Talk to us about the latest thing you did, Gloria.
Yes, I recently did just buy my first house. Um, it was definitely a challenge, I feel like, definitely, because I have always just loved working, especially when I got my first job. I was always working as much as I could, saving as much as I could. And honestly, I feel like my brother did play a big part in that ever since, because we have a big age gap. So he was already in his real estate journey whenever I started working, but he very much instilled in my brain to save money, don't buy a new car, don't waste your money on things. And honestly, that did pay off because I was able to buy my first house at 20 years old.
21.
21. I will be 21 in a couple weeks.
By the time of this recording being released, Gloria will officially be 21. So if you know her, congratulate her, buy her a drink, or,
Yes.
she could finally
First
go to the
legal
bar.
drink.
I'm almost gonna be 30 and she'll probably drag me to the
Mhm.
bar with her as well. But,
Yes, I've
well,
been telling my siblings to prepare for my 21st. My brother is 8 years older than me, and my sister's 11 years older than me, so they've definitely been waiting a while for me to turn 21,
yeah,
but almost there.
nonetheless, we're still young. We're in our 20s, early
Mhm.
30s. So don't make us feel too old yet. Awesome. So what does being first generation mean to you? Kind of yeah, what does it mean to you?
Honestly, I feel like to me it means being successful and giving my parents a good reason for coming to the US. I feel like all their hard work pays off through their kids. I feel like when they come here, all they
Agreed.
know is work, work, work. And obviously, anybody's pride and joy is their children. And I feel like being successful and in whatever way that is, in graduating college or starting a business or just thriving in whatever way is for you, like just being happy and like making your parents happy, looking out for them as much as you can so they don't have to work as much. Just finding a way to live a better life than they did when they were younger, and all making everything that they suffered through worth it, because obviously our parents love to see us happy and thriving, and I feel like that's what it means to me is and just honoring all their sacrifices that they made, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. We wouldn't have the jobs we have if it wasn't for them. And honestly, just honoring them and all the sacrifices they made for us.
Agreed. And I think it's super humbling. We've both had the privilege and honor of going to Guatemala and El Salvador, visiting the towns my parents grew up in, the country, and just seeing how life can be so different. once you go over the border. And I think many people take for granted the opportunities we have here in the US, without a doubt.
Definitely. I feel like we were blessed with the opportunity to be traveling when we were younger to Guatemala and El Salvador. And just seeing people younger than us, kids, and the sacrifices they have to make for their families, starting to work at such a young age, it really opens your eyes and makes you want to work harder in the US because we were blessed with such a big opportunity. And it is because of our parents, because that's what they grew up with is working for their to be able to survive.
No doubt. And even the opportunity of being able to do what we love, being able to be a nail tech.
Mhm.
Imagine being a nail tech in La Blanca or Pro San Marcos. It's probably very tough. I wonder if people can even afford to get their nails done,
Mhm.
right? Or
Exactly.
imagine being a real estate agent in a place where they don't have agents to
Yeah.
begin with. There may be limited to no financing for anybody
Yeah.
to prosper in certain areas. Um, so talk to me about our parents having a role in you pursuing being a nail tech, having your own business. Where did you learn your work ethic? Why are you so motivated? At soon to be 21 years old, I feel that you've accomplished a lot.
Honestly, I feel like growing up with first gen parents very much impacted how I work, how motivated I am. Um I feel like we grew up in a very um different from the stereotypical kind of household. From a young age, I think I was 4 years old. My dad used to work construction and my mom was working, and I feel like that's how it is, or my mom was not working. And I feel like that's how a usual Hispanic household is. The father mostly works. But when I was 4, my dad did have an accident in construction. He did hit his head and I believe he got a concussion, but unfortunately that caused him to not be able to work. So ever since I was 4, my dad has not worked. He's been disabled. And so with 3 young children, my mom had to start working. Um and I feel like we were mostly taken care of by my dad. He would make us breakfast before going to school. He would take us to school whenever we got our first jobs. Like he would drop us off at our jobs, things like that. So I feel like my dad very much played a role, but I think my mom's work ethic really impacted us because it was something I just hadn't seen before. I mean, I feel like most Hispanic households, the dad is the one that's working, but it it was kind of a switched role in the way we grew up, and my mom has always been very focused on working. She's had a great work ethic. She taught us don't be late, don't ever be late. Um, no taking days off or anything like that. But yeah, I feel like my mom's work ethic to and it's something that she had to do. I mean, if my dad wasn't working and my mom wasn't working, we wouldn't have had food on the table. So my mom's work ethic really I feel like impacted how I work, and hopefully eventually in the future maybe being able to retire her so she doesn't she's had to work most of her life, most of my life that I've seen her. So definitely.
I always we're getting a bit personal, but I always kind of joke around that my dad, through sacrifices, was able to also kind of get ahead financially. So, like you said, he did get hurt in the workplace, and um, whenever that happened, I don't know if you know this or not, but he didn't get compensated for a year or two. He didn't get workers' comp. He didn't get any any kind of pay, and I know those times were probably whenever our family struggled the most, just being paycheck to paycheck. And I remember one of the church members, El Hermano Salinas, at one point actually came to our home and gifted us like 100 or 200 bucks. And I'm like now in
Oh my gosh.
retrospect, I'm like, wow, like we were we were struggling
I
for
honestly did not know
yeah,
that, but
yeah. I respect the man for that reason, looking out for our family and just being so giving. Um, but yeah, I remember my dad always coming home from work. I was obviously older than you, so and then one night he didn't. My mom told me he had gotten injured and was in the hospital. when he finally got home, he told us he was seeing like three, what do you call it? Kind of seeing the same image in three. You know, he would see you and then kind of two more of Gloria
Mm,
right
mhm.
next to you. And he actually has had vision problems ever since,
Yeah.
um, he is disabled, problems with, headaches, being under the sun, stuff like that. So kind of what I was going at is finally, after a while, they did reach a settlement with after getting attorneys involved, etc. He had a bit of a payout, that kind of helped their families get forward, throw a bit of money to the mortgage. But several years later, he had a car accident, and somebody totaled his car on the road out on Airport Boulevard, and after that settlement, he was finally able to pay off his house. But I start thinking now that I'm in real estate, we look at people that get ahead financially, others who don't. And the fact that my father was able to pay off his house through literal physical
We like to joke that my dad
sacrifices.
has 9 lives because I feel like he had so many accidents, but he's persevered through all of them, and I feel like he's still anytime we need something around the house or anytime we need something done, something built, he's always there, and I feel
Agreed.
like that also stems from him growing up, having to work all the time. He
Yeah.
still helps us out, anything. I mean, he used to do construction, so anytime any of us need anything, he's always the first one we call.
Yeah, he's a good father. He's very hands-on, and I feel that even though he hasn't had a paying job ever since his accident, he is always looking for fulfillment.
Mhm.
So he does find joy and gratification in saying, "Hey, let me help you build a deck. Let me help you replace the flooring in your new home." He's done that for you. He did that for me, and yeah, he's always like on standby.
And I feel like that really did teach us more work ethic because even then, he still looks for little jobs here and there. Even family, friends ask him for little jobs here and there, and he's always just working.
So Gloria, what do you do for fun? Because I feel that you're always working too. Every time I'm like, "Hey Gloria, what's going on? What are you up to?" "Oh, I'm working. I got nail appointments until 9 p.m."
Yeah. Um, I mean, I like shopping. um, I feel like honestly, ever since I bought my house, I feel like I've done so much like home shopping, and that's been my hobby. But I am also into running. I really enjoy that. I also share that hobby with my brother. We did the half marathon last year. I kind
Yep.
of slacked off a little bit this year, but we're gonna get back to it. But yeah, I do enjoy just going out and distracting myself. I feel like since I do work from home, I love just leaving the house, whether that's to go get a coffee or just to go drive around, run errands. Like, I just love being outside and just
What are some of your favorite coffee shops?
oh my gosh, I love Confident Coffee. If you haven't been there, you need to try it. I feel like I love coffee shops so much that I've tried literally everything in NWA,
Hmm.
but I do love Confident Coffee. They're definitely my favorite. I'm very into matcha. I feel like my boyfriend tells me I have a matcha problem because I have one like every day. But if you haven't been to Calmo Coffee in Rogers, they definitely have very good matcha. Also supporting our small business community and our Latino community. Mucho's Cafe, if you haven't seen her on Instagram, she makes very good matcha and she's definitely a representation of work ethic. She wakes up at 6 a.m. every day to make matchas. She's working. Definitely love her matcha.
Right on. What one thing I love about Northwest Arkansas is how entrepreneurial many of the people are. So I've heard you talk about that small business for quite some time. So I love to hear that they
hmm
have great work ethic. They're making it happen.
Yes, definitely. I feel like there's so many small businesses in Northwest Arkansas that you can support, and I feel like that makes me so happy too that first gen people are finding other ways instead of just labor to also make money and be successful. And again, it stems back to the opportunity that our parents gave us to even have a choice to do something we enjoy and make money off of it instead of just having to work hard and do labor.
100%. My wife Jackie loves matcha as well. She's been going a lot to a new spot in Bentonville called the Caffeine Bar.
Oh, yes.
Support local. They're also Hispanic owned. I'm a huge coffee guy. I like matcha, but I prefer my dark, strong coffee. So Boulder Coffee,
Mhm.
just right down the road from our office here in Pinnacle. That's my go-to.
Yeah, I feel like
Dodo's
the
Coffee and
matcha
Fable as well. Shout
matcha is
out.
definitely an acquired taste, I feel like, but a lot of people don't like it, but I think it's pretty
It's
good.
good. It has a nice
Mhm.
leafy flavor to it. I just prefer coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, dark black coffee or a good latte. So what about pop culture? What do Gen Z people listen to these days?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I've always anytime I'm asked this question of what I listen to, I always just say a little bit of everything because I feel like that's how I am. Like I don't have a favorite artist or anything. I just love like music that I guess makes me feel good, like music that flows, if that makes sense. I don't know, but um yeah, I love
How
watching like
how about
reality.
Caliucci?
Oh yeah, love her. Just went to her concert I think like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, she paid a beautiful tribute to immigrants and um how we have to work double as hard, how we've impacted um the United States. I
A
mean,
hundred
there wouldn't
percent.
be any United States without immigrants. I feel like we have such a big impact that sometimes we don't get recognized for. Um, but yeah, love her for that beautiful tribute.
Agreed. Just last week we were looking at new construction homes with a buyer and we were walking in and it's always La Raza building the home. So shout out
Mhm.
to La Raza.
Yes, definitely.
Um, People may or may not know this, but our parents worked, well, you said it, construction. They actually migrated to Los Angeles from Central America back in 1986. My father worked construction, building homes. My mother cleaned houses. That's what she focused on. Whenever they moved to Arkansas, my mom started working at the poultry plants, I think OMP, which I believe was now acquired by a different poultry company, cleaned hotels, and now she's working for Walmart at the supercenter. Still pretty hands-on, um, heavy labor job, if you will, but at least Walmart has a bit more benefits, a bit more proper structure compared to, having to do heavy labor jobs.
Mhm. Yeah, we all were born in LA and I feel like also that moving here, I feel like also stems from our parents always wanting the best for us. I mean, I was 1 year old, but for whatever. um, it was very a little dangerous in the part of LA we were growing up, and so our parents did decide to move us here just again for the better for us.
Shout out Hollywood.
Yes. But yeah, I feel like our parents have just always wanted the best for us, been sacrificing everything just to give us more opportunities, and I feel like that's always gonna be my motivation. That'll always be what I work for.
100%. I always hyped up Hollywood to Jackie, and when I finally took her to Hollywood, she was not impressed whatsoever. But ever since we've actually branched out into different parts of California, my wife loves San Diego. We've gone to La Jolla Beach. We've gone here recently to Yosemite National Park. Um, Carmel, Big Sur, Monterey, California. So there's Ventura, California. So there's different parts of California that are beautiful.
Mhm.
I think Hollywood is just overrated and kind of run down now
Yeah, for sure.
and dangerous, which is why we moved here.
Yeah. But I feel like also my parents really we always were my mom likes to say like le gusta andar para arriba y para abajo. Like we always were taking little trips, taking little weekend trips. Even now, like I think a couple months ago she went to Guatemala for 2 days. She literally left
Wow.
one day, was there Saturday, Sunday, and came back Monday. But I feel like that really also
When
has
was
impact
that?
like in March.
Oh boy.
Yeah, she
Over the
literally went.
weekend.
See, he didn't even notice because she was only gone
Yeah.
for a weekend.
She was gone for like 2 days.
But yeah, I feel like that's also why I love traveling. Like I never like sitting still, and I feel like that's also what I work for. Like I love being able to take some time off of work. I mean, I don't have to ask anybody for time off. I feel like that's also what I
Agreed.
love about my job. But yeah, just exploring new places. I feel like there's so much to see, and I feel like NWA is great, but it's definitely small compared to bigger cities, and I feel like if you have the opportunity to go and explore, like, it'll definitely open your eyes, and especially leaving the country, again, Guatemala, El
Yep.
Salvador, you'll see how many opportunities we really have here.
I think it gives you a good amount of cultural intelligence whenever you travel. You know,
Mhm.
I think it's healthy to get outside of our little bubble of how great Northwest Arkansas is and explore even different states. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we were in Memphis, Tennessee, with Jackie late last year for some clinical work that she was doing, and just being in and around the Delta puts things into perspective. You know, the homelessness rate, people struggling, and it even here it happens in our backyard. Uh, but whenever you leave the country, things get put into major perspective. And I'm not
Of
talking
course.
about these resorts like Cancun, that's
Mhm.
super Americanized. I'm talking being out where the real people are, the civilization, and just seeing how things are. And it's very humbling and always looking for a way to give back.
Of course. And I feel like that's why I encourage traveling so much too. Even if it is to other states, I feel like that's also one of my goals in the future is to live in a bigger city. There's so much more ways to express yourself. I feel like so many new people to me. I feel like you can always meet new people. You're always going to learn something from somebody else. And I feel like, yeah, we recently went in December to Chicago, and I feel like even then, like, it's there's so much more creativeness and a lot more people expressing themselves even through their outfits or things like that, or like a lot more events. There's just always more to see, and I feel like if you stay in a little bubble of what you're used to, you won't grow because I feel like you need to see like just more.
100%. So shifting gears a bit, Gloria, I think you're pretty big and successful on social media, which is why we brought you on board with the DS team as well to help us increase our social media game. And hopefully people are following us at NWA Realtor and the DS team, NWA on Instagram. Feel free to give in your plug and then let us know, kind of what social media is all about.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. I've kind of go back and forth with TikTok. I try to make TikToks and then I kind of lag, but I feel like most of my clients do come from Instagram. Nails x Gloria, Nails by Gloria on Instagram if you want to follow me. But yeah, honestly, I feel like when I first started doing nails, I didn't really realize how much social media really impacted it. I feel like, or any business, I feel like nowadays social media is definitely your biggest um client bringer. I mean, I guess you could
Agreed.
say, but yeah, it's definitely hard to get used to, I guess, or hard to figure out. There's so much to social media that I feel like you really have to dig into it and kind of like inform yourself, I guess, about it. But yeah, just consistency and posting and getting your name out there, I feel like is so important when it comes to owning your own business. Um, because at the end of the day, if you don't put yourself out there, then who is? Yeah.
Agreed. Would you say that your business of being a nail tech has been built around social media?
I feel like it has for the most part. I feel like especially because I do post photos of my work, I feel like it's a little bit harder with real estate because you can't really I mean, you can post all your houses, but me personally, like I post it's not a product, but I'm showing like the final result if that makes sense. But yeah, definitely. I feel like and that's how I've gotten most of my clients. I've honestly like 99% of my clients have came from
Wow.
social media. A couple here and there from word of mouth, but honestly like just putting yourself out there and again also like collaborating with other businesses. I've done a few giveaways with other businesses as well and just everybody supporting each other. I feel like a lot of other business owners, a lot of other nail techs, a lot of other lash techs, estheticians, things like that, floral arrangements, things like that, have also impacted my clientele. Just we're always just supporting each other, and I feel like that's so important when it comes to a small business.
I think giveaways are huge on social media, right?
Oh yeah, very. I mean, who doesn't like free things?
Yeah, I like entering giveaways.
Yeah.
Shout out Victor Godinez from our team. He's also very big with social media and doing giveaways. Recently did like a $500,
Oh
maybe
no.
$250 giveaway to Seven Brews, which is a great successful drive-through coffee shop here in Northwest Arkansas. Nationally now, I think they have hundreds of locations, but
Hmm.
that blew up on social media. Who doesn't want free Seven Brews?
Yeah. I feel like Seven Brew has gotten so big. I think it did start in Rogers.
Yeah. Here in
Yeah, I
Pinnacle was
think
the first location.
yeah, there's a few in I think Texas already I've
Oh,
seen
yeah,
or things like that.
Florida.
It's grown so much. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no doubt. So as we start wrapping up, Gloria, again, well, I don't think I've said on air before, but I'm super proud of you to be your older brother,
thank
and
you.
I love seeing all your success. I feel that you've had a lot of success already for somebody who's barely turning 21 years old. What's next?
I feel like there's so much. I feel like I always go back and forth with what I want to do. I feel like I'm still so young, so there's so many more opportunities. I do want to always stay in the nail industry. Maybe not always being behind the chair, and actually physically doing nails, but maybe one day opening my own salon with nail techs that started off on their own as well. I feel like that's something that I haven't really seen before. I've seen more just traditional nail salons, but um yeah, and just
You may or may not know this, but we actually have nail techs who are also real estate agents in our
oh
industry, in
really?
our market. I think even in our market center, as a matter of fact. So,
Really?
hey, you never know. Maybe you get
Yeah.
into commercial real estate and buy or are better suited to find your next location if you do brick and
Yeah, of
mortar.
course. I feel like that's something I've also thought about is getting into real estate again, inspired by my brother. He's, I don't know if I've said this, but I'm so proud of you too.
Thank you.
Definitely. You started at what, 19?
19 years old,
Yeah.
got
I
into real
remember
estate.
when we were younger, he would take me door knocking with him. I remember in,
I
I
needed a
still
bodyguard.
I was like half his size. I don't know what I would have done, but yeah, I do remember that. And I feel like again, it goes back to work ethic. And I feel like because I feel like not a lot of people have the guts to do that and go door knocking, door to door, and put themselves out there. But obviously, it paid off.
100%.
Um.
So real quick, if any new real estate agents are listening, here is the concrete proof that I would door knock early in my career.
Oh yeah,
Thank God I
definitely.
don't have to door knock much anymore. I would if I have to, but social media has been huge for our business as well. A large majority of our clientele has came from social platforms like Facebook, Twitter, now X, Instagram. None on LinkedIn yet. If you follow me on LinkedIn, please hit me up for a property. Haven't had a lead off LinkedIn yet. But yeah, but now after being in real estate for 9 years, believe it or not, there's a lot of repeat business, repeat clients, referrals, sphere of influence. Thankfully, we've been able to grow a great network of amazing people that support us and love us, and they hit us up to buy and sell property. But social media is still maybe not so much underrated now, but if you have a business, I think that's one of the biggest platforms you can grow in.
Of course. And I feel like going back to how you said you've had a lot of repeat business, I feel like that's also so important is always giving every single client your best because I feel like most of my clientele is clients that come back to me every month, every 3 weeks. I feel like that's also so important. Going back to Chick-fil-A, they taught me amazing customer service. So I definitely learned a lot from them. But yeah, I feel like um in the future, we'll see what the future holds. I definitely want to stay in the nail industry, but we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah,
Right on. So again, Gloria has been an amazing guest. I'm super proud of you. Successful nail tech. You're barely going to be 21 years old. I cannot wait to see what else you accomplish.
thank you.
Um,
I don't know if I've asked you, but how was that seeing me go from being just a little kid until seeing me grow up and be successful?
Honestly, mind blowing. Like,
Really?
yeah. I mean, I still remember you as a little kid, being my younger sister, just following me around the house, and like now you're grown. You got a career, you got a home, you got a bright head on your shoulders, like you're doing great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't really get sentimental like that, but yeah, I feel like a lot of it did come from looking up to my brother and seeing how hard of a worker he was and just seeing him have a good head on his shoulders as well and always just giving me advice, things like that. So, yeah.
Thank you. So again, as we wrap up, maybe what is one final thing that you would want to share with the listeners? Maybe one takeaway. What has led to your success, or what do you think people can connect with?
Honestly, I feel like consistency is very much important. I feel like consistency in anything that you do, you're not never going to see results quickly. I mean, when I first started doing nails, I didn't have many clients. Honestly, props to one of my friends. She would walk around with super ugly nails because I didn't know what I was doing yet, but she trusted the process and now she gets beautiful nails every month. So, but yeah, just consistency.
Love it.
Just work through it. And honestly, too, I would say it's okay to be different and like strive away from the stereotypical because again, I didn't finish college and I feel like that is an accomplishment, but again, like college isn't for everybody, and I feel like some people are scared to do that because honestly, I was scared. I remember the day that I told my advisor that I didn't want to do nails anymore. I literally left and went to my car and cried because I was so scared of failing. But honestly, just consistency is what got me here. And yeah, it's okay if you want to pursue something different than what your siblings did, something different than what your family is used to. Just as long as it's something you're really passionate about, I feel like you'll always be happy.
Agreed. And my final takeaway, I agree with you with consistency and sharing a bit of my story. Many people know this, but my first year in real estate back in 2017, I sold one house my first year. I actually had a second one, but that fell through due to financing, so we
Oh,
weren't able to close it. I only sold one home my first year. I could have quit then, and all this would have been a what if. I would have never known it. Um, Thankfully, year two, I found a great mentor, joined a great team, and I did fairly well. And then year three, that's whenever I feel that I finally started to take off. And I think many people quit early on. And I tell this story to all the new agents that I come across. You only fail in real estate if you quit. If you don't quit and you make it a year three and you've put in the work, you're going to be okay and it's going to work out. And I now see that connection with being a nail tech. In the first couple of years, it's hard. I remember, you know, me visiting the home and I'm like, hey Gloria, what are you up to? Oh, just waiting on my clients, but I guess they're
I
a no
remember
show.
I would be so happy whenever I'm like, I have 3 clients this week, and now I take up to like 6 or 7 a day. But yeah, no, definitely consistency. And I feel like also the people you surround yourself with, like Francisco said, joining a great team. I feel like having people around you that also have that same work ethic, that same drive to be better and just work hard. Also have fun along the way, but also just work hard and have the same mindset of you is so important.
Agree. So a few parting words, uh, kind of along the lines of being around people that you want to succeed with. Shout out to Keller Williams. They've actually sponsored this beautiful podcast room here in Rogers. Part of the reason we came to be a part of this brokerage was due to the great people and leaders that we have in this organization. So definitely be around the people that you want to be like in any aspect in life. Um, as we part ways, don't forget to like and subscribe. I got to get used to saying that. Hopefully, you guys follow us on YouTube, on all the social media platforms. And before we get going, Gloria, what is the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Through Instagram or through my number. I unfortunately don't answer calls. I get a lot of spam calls, but yes, just text me. My number is in my bio on Instagram. Again, it's Nails X Gloria. And thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is going to be our second official guest episode recording. We welcome any kind of feedback. Please give us the things you like, you don't like, what you want to hear more about, who you want us to interview next. We're always looking to just be better. Thanks again for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
Peace out.